Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word this morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's a sunny Tuesday morning, at least for the moment, but I'm glad you could join me for our time together as we continue our journey through the daily word and through scripture and how we apply it to our lives. As always, I remain grateful that you choose to join me and that you log in every day, either now or later, and that you offer greetings and that somehow this makes a difference in your life. And I always appreciate that together we might grow better and become better and do all the things that God calls us to do. So, today we've reached a bit of a milestone again. Today is daily word number 900 in our long journey together. So, I've chosen for this day and for this text Ezekiel 34, chapter 27. And we hear these words from Ezekiel, the prophet. The trees will yield their fruit, and the ground will yield its crops. The people will be secure in their land. They will know that I am the Lord when I break the bars of their yoke and rescue them from the hands of those that enslaved them. So, a bit of a reflection. It was Monday, March 16th, 2020. Right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I chose on that Monday, after Sunday, when we went from people to no people, which was extremely difficult transition. I decided on Sunday night and Monday that it made sense to do some kind of thing to keep us together in the interim. And we thought it would be in the interim. We thought a couple weeks, maybe we'll get to Easter and this whole thing will level out and we'll feel better and we'll get back to whatever normal is. Well, of course, that didn't happen. We ended up being closed for a long time. We ended up having to stay home. We ended up wearing masks. We ended up, short of all kinds of things, we, for some reason, hoarded toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. I didn't, but lots of folks did. And we became frustrated with all that happened. That was March 16th, 2020. Here we are, April 23rd, 2024, daily word number 900. Now, the prophet Ezekiel gives us some interesting words. You know, the world, life, pandemics now that we know about them, just how things happen in general in life, they're tricky to understand and hard to discern. And you know, as much as I would love to, I don't have any special insight into what divine intervention is, and I don't, or sheer luck as it may be. I'm not a prophet, you know. What I commit to with people is to pray for them, and I keep that long list, and I do that, and I offer prayers daily for many people. I offer to be there. Let me know if you need anything. I'm not a prophet, though. I don't get all this, but luckily for us, in the midst of the pandemic, and even now, these 4+ years later, the prophet Ezekiel gives us one way to know when God's actions stand behind an unexpected outcome. Ezekiel says, "They'll know I am the Lord when I break the bars of their yoke and rescue them from the hands that enslaved them." That's how you'll know. And you know, we've been lucky. You know, we have walked through the pandemic. We have stuck together. We are 900 episodes of the Daily Word together. And in the midst of all of those difficulties, it's true that God continues to move and act in the world. How do we know? Well, I think we know when people love each other. I think we know when people do good deeds for each other. I think we know when we stop yelling at each other and calling each other names. We haven't gotten there yet. We know when God breaks down barriers that allow us to fully be God's people. If we're looking for God, maybe we should look for the times and the ways and the places where God continues to set us free. Because it's there that God is among us. And during those difficult days of the early pandemic and all the months that we struggled, we chose this one way, to stay together. For a while on Sunday nights, we gathered via Zoom. It was a kind of a Brady Bunch kind of thing, and we all checked in just to make sure we were all okay, and if anybody needed anything. We stuck together, and it's this reminder as we move into the future. And I talked yesterday, about the future and what it looks like, and all of those things. And interestingly enough, I had another conversation about that this morning. People, it's interesting, these conversations. The prophet says the trees will yield their fruit, and the ground will yield its crops, and the people will be secure in their land. They will know that I am the Lord their God. And I think that's so evident for us in our time together, in our ongoing conversations, what Scripture means for us, how we gather on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights, and soon we'll gather outside around in and around the shelter and around the fire pit and around the grill. We've begun planning for mission trip. We'll be leaving in June, and all those conversations that happen in those places, and the list goes on and on and on, where God helps us to yield fruit and crops to grow. And it's in us. It's kind of metaphorical, it's in us, it's in you and in me, these things that God makes happen in us and in the world. So here we are. I don't have the arithmetic to figure out. Life doesn't always add up. It doesn't always make sense. But in my experience, and what I know, and I hope this is true for you, and if it's not, take this to heart. Sometimes the arithmetic of life doesn't add up. Bad health diagnosis, struggles, loss of jobs, the list goes on and on, right? But then, for me, when the arithmetic doesn't seem to add up, it's then I think that God's providence is at work. And God's moving in us in ways that we just don't understand. Every now and again, it doesn't make sense. But the prophet Ezekiel reminds us, the trees will yield their fruit. The ground will yield its crops. We will know, Ezekiel says, that I am the Lord. And I think that's good news for us in this day. So, for 900 episodes, I know some of you have watched 900 times. Thank you for that. Some of you are newer to us. Thank you for that. Some of you, I don't even know you're watching because you never say good morning. You never let me know that you're watching. That's okay. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a part of this. I hope that one word, one thought, one action, one scripture has made a difference for you in these 900 days together. One of them has just sparked something in you to help. And if it has, then we've done our job together, and we'll continue to do it together. So that's our word for today. Thanks for joining me for our time together. I'm grateful as always that you carve out time to be with me. So know of God's love that surrounds you, and know my love for you. And for 900 episodes, I've said that. Know of God's love that surrounds you. Know of my love for you. And sincerely, truly, if you need prayers, let me know. If you need something, if you need pastoral care, all you have to do is ask, and we'll work it out. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day.